In tennis, one of the most common serves is the flat serve, which does not have any spin, meaning that it doesn't curve in the air or when it touches the ground. It does have speed, however, which can often catch your opponent off guard. This surprise serve can give you an ace, which is where you earn a point if your opponent does not return it. With a flat serve in doubles, you want to be closer to the doubles alley with your foot parallel to the back line. The ball and racket should touch briefly so that your hands and eyes are coordinated with each other. Then you want to toss the ball in the air in a relatively straight line right in front of you. At the same time, your racket should swing behind you with a loose grip and nearly touch your back. When the ball is a little higher than your head, you want to snap the racket forward, being careful of your head, and hit the ball. Your foot will come forward with momentum of hitting the ball. It takes practice to learn where you should hit the ball in order to both get it in and have a good speed on it. Note how the racket touching my back, the ball toss, and the eventual snap of the racket forward is all one movement. While I described it in steps, it should all go together fluidly. There are going to be times where you believe you tossed the ball right and your racket met the ball at the right height, but the ball goes in the net or goes farther than the service line. Many times, one slight change in the ball's movement in front of you will throw off where the ball lands. Again, it takes practice and precision to get the ball where you want. Most beginners in tennis first learn the flat serve because it does not require any additional extra rotation of the racket or a different type of grip form that may feel uncomfortable and odd to a beginner. With flat serves, one type of grip that is used is called the continental grip. This is when the racket is perpendicular to the ground when your arm is straight out in front of you. Your thumb will be on the inside of the racket with the rest of your hand curled around the outside. Now I am a righty, but if you're a lefty, it is still the same thing. Thumb on the inside, rest on the outside, except the righty and lefty positions of your hand will be like mirror images. The V that your hand makes in the space between your thumb and pointer finger will rest on the top of the grip, and this allows you to get extra rotation in your wrist and will also allow you to meet the ball straight on and send it into the service court. The continental grip is also used because it is easy to switch from continental to eastern, the primary grip used for a flatter forehand stroke. When you're finished with your serve, in order to go from continental to eastern, you'll want to rotate your hand a little to the outside so that the V that your hand made when you served, it will now be resting between the top and the right bevel. And the right bevel is the next closest flat part of the grip near the top. In this close-up here, you can clearly see the bevels that I referenced before. The bevels make the racket look somewhat like an elongated octagon. Like I said, when you serve, you want your thumb to be on the inside of the racket with the rest of your hand on the outside. Now that you can see clearer, the V on your hand that it makes between your forefinger and your thumb should be resting on the top bevel of the grip. As you can see, the top and the bottom bevel are shorter than the side bevels, which makes it easier to identify. When switching from continental to eastern, that V will make its way from the top bevel to the ridge that separates the top bevel and the side. Moving from grip and hand placement to ball placement, you want to try to hit the ball on its downward path when it is approximately in the center of the racket. The strings in the center of the racket, like many other nets and such, have more spring than the rest of the face of the racket, allowing the ball to travel farther and faster. While you can hit the ball on the edge of the racket, it will not be as fast or go as far as it could. A lot of more experienced players can identify where they hit the ball, not only based on how the ball acts, but the sound the ball makes coming off the racket. This applies not only to serves, but also to strokes as well. Notice the difference? You can also tell how your hand and arm feel after hitting the ball. Oftentimes, when you hit the edge of the racket, it will create a vibrating sensation that travels to your hand and arm. Serving is all about hand placement, body placement, and timing. Get it right and practice that serve, and you will be able to soon hit that ball past your opponent without them ever knowing what happened.